Scimitar, a highly mobile, lightly armoured tracked CBR, capable of speeds up to 85 kilometres an hour, and armed with a 30mm Raden cannon with a battle range of 2,000 metres. Scimitars make up the sabre troops of medium recce squadrons in BAOR. Reconnaissance. In military terms, defined as getting accurate and timely information about the enemy and ground in all types and phases of war, and passing it back quickly to the appropriate commander.
Borum, I've seen an enemy foot patrol. Send an initial sighting report. And don't forget to break radio silence.
Sir. General, the situation is as you see it here on the map. The inter-assessment is that this is a forward detachment.
The tactical headquarters of an armoured division. With his Chief of Staff, the GOC, Major General Richard Swinburne.
Right. Well, I think for the moment the most important thing is to make sure we do not lose contact with that enemy between now and when we get to the river. Now, there's absolutely no doubt at all in my mind that a key asset in this divisional information gathering system is my medium reconnaissance regiment. The reason it's key is it alone has the eyes and ears that give it a 24-hour all-weather capability and the ability to verify its information. You will be operating in the van of a divisional battle, and you must understand my concept of operations right down at troop level. Unless every troop understands what the division is trying to achieve, they will not be successful. Now that puts a very heavy burden and responsibility on every individual in the regiment. The regiment must carry out its role under all conditions and in all phases of war. It will achieve its mission primarily by stealth, harassing the enemy with indirect fire and only using direct fire as a last resort. You'll be operating on very wide frontages or on an exposed flank to provide that vital information upon which I can act.
Much of the hard grind of reconnaissance means movement. Movement to get information. This means, first of all, making a sound appreciation based on the map, the enemy picture, the troops' detailed tasks, and the time you've got to achieve these tasks. Make maximum use of cover. Take full advantage of natural obstacles for protection. In making a tactical appreciation and to work out fields of observation, troop leaders must always plan to be in a position to observe. You should always move first into a turret-down position. And then, if the vehicle's optics are required after you've had a chance to scan the ground, into a sights-up position. Remember, as with any lightly armoured vehicle, protection is always enhanced by concealment. From an observation position, you may not be able to fire, but remaining concealed, you can use your binoculars and sights. A fire position enables you to fire your main armament, but exposes your position. Ground must be searched systematically. An apparent uniformity of ground may be deceptive. What is concealed is often more important than what is revealed. The area must be scanned horizontally, starting with the foreground, then the middle distance and distance, followed by searching. You've just got to examine every important feature of the terrain, using all your surveillance equipment. If a commander believes he has been located by the enemy, he should move his vehicle to a previously selected alternative position. During a move, at least one vehicle must remain in a concealed position to maintain observation and be ready to give direct fire support or preferably call for indirect fire. This lateral move of at least 200 meters is known as jockeying. The troop leader should attempt to achieve all-round vision at all times using the terrain. Such features in the terrain become bounds. A bound is a piece of ground of tactical importance on or astride the axis that can be held if necessary, preferably within range of direct fire-supporting weapons and approachable from cover. A bound enables you to move into position unseen by the enemy, but still under direct fire support from other vehicles. Over a single troop area, medium recce troops can operate as half-troops, sections. Using this method, control is simplified and the ground more thoroughly covered. In order that they may operate together as two sections within the troop's own area of responsibility, a troop leader can establish, in his own plan, a boundary between himself and his troop sergeant. Each section will then have its own route or axis over which it will advance. A leading vehicle should advance only when a supporting vehicle is able to cover it forward. You must be careful not to advance out of sight of your supporting vehicle. Movement along a road or in close country where only a single route can be used is by green, amber, or red snake patrol, depending on the enemy threat. In snake patrol, a moving vehicle must never go out of sight of its support, and its support must in turn never be out of sight of its support. In more open country, advance may be by leapfrog. In this case, covered by a supporting vehicle on one bound and making use of available cover, movement is forward on to the next bound. The supporting vehicle then moves through, again making maximum use of cover, on to the next bound, and so on. However, when approaching enemy contact, commanders must pause to observe the ground over which they plan to move before actually doing so. In this case, movement is by caterpillar. Covered by the first vehicle, the second advances and takes up a position on the next bound. When this commander has gone firm on this bound, he is joined by the other. The first will then move forward only after both commanders have had time to study the ground. First things first. And first of all, you need to know what's expected of you.
Gentlemen, orders. Ground. You are
Orders. At squadron headquarters. Armoured reconnaissance commanders need to be given clear instructions so that they know whether they're to carry out their mission by observation alone, by observation and the destruction of nominated enemy, such as his recce vehicles, or by imposing delay. If that's the case, then the support of other arms may be needed.
Our area of responsibility in the south runs from the town of Hereford to the conurbation of Lerner, an urban sprawling mass in the centre, to the Minden Ridge, and north to the Mittelland Canal.
Recce troops may be called upon to advance to contact, to locate an enemy incursion, to cover an exposed flank or gap between formations, and withdraw in contact.
And enemy to the north.
Recce cannot operate effectively if over-constrained by narrow boundaries. Too many report lines, bounds, timed phase lines, and so forth. The task is to make and maintain contact with the enemy, and then probe his position in order to gain the maximum information. The art of reconnaissance is stealth, to see the enemy without being seen. But inevitably, this cannot always be achieved. When contact is made, the vehicle fired on may fire smoke, but certainly heads for cover. Troop leader, or in this engagement, troop sergeant, returns fire from the second vehicle. An immediate contact report must now be sent.
Hello, Zero, this is Bravo 1-1, contact BMP, wait out. Hello, Zero, this is Bravo 1-1, contact as at 15:10 hours. Grid, 834...
Contact reports must be accurate and specific. When, where, what. What the enemy is doing and what you are doing about it.
I have engaged the BMP and destroyed it.
If, on the other hand, the enemy had been seen and no engagement had occurred, then the troop would send to squadron headquarters a sighting report.
Hello, Zero, this is Bravo 1-1, a sighting report.
A sighting report has the same content as a contact report, but to maintain security, all grid references are encoded.
Mike Sierra, Whiskey Echo. 1 T-64 and 2 BMPs stationary. I assess them to be elements of a Div Recce patrol. I am observing. Out.
The troop leader, whose section in this engagement has not made contact with the enemy, moves into a position where he can, if possible, observe the enemy from the flank. From here, he can try to assess the full extent of the enemy position.
Hello, Zero. This is a Bravo 1-0. 3 Juliet, Alpha Delta Charlie, Alpha Lima. A grid, Alpha Mike, a Bravo Charlie, a Victor Delta. 2 grid, a Whiskey Mike, Hotel India, Mike Charlie. Now, out.
He may seek to bypass the enemy, so the troop must be given clear orders by SHQ on the size of enemy positions that it may bypass. Normally, before being authorized to do so, the other troops, particularly close recce, will be tasked to take over the responsibility for continuing to observe the enemy.
Hello, Bravo 20, this is 0, 3 Golf, Juliet Whiskey Sierra, Mike Yankee, Juliet Oscar, Sierra Echo, Mike November. Now, out.
When ordered to bypass an enemy position, the troop leader selects a bypass route off the map which will enable him to move out of sight of the enemy position. If the route crosses an inter-troop boundary, coordination with others in the squadron will be necessary. The troop will withdraw from contact and carry out normal tactical movement along the route selected. In this case, the route is reported clear, and the troop adopts green snake patrol. Once clear of the enemy position, the troop continues the advance astride its axis and within its original boundaries. Except when crossing positions which are likely to be registered by enemy artillery, such as minefield gaps and defiles, vehicle crews will normally remain opened up. Defiles, like for example a bridge crossing, are obvious targets for enemy ambush and indirect fire. With all hatches closed down and having checked for any indication of enemy and mines, and covered by one vehicle on the approach, another vehicle then moves through at speed to a fire position on the far side. From the far side, this vehicle then covers while the next two move across as a pair.